Last legal basis, it's about the public interest task, c'est mieux. Public interest task. The use of this legal basis is justified for processing carried out by the public authorities. So the use of this legal basis is justified by processing carried out by the public authorities to perform a task in the public interest, or when they exercise public authority, or when they exercise official public authority. Of course, this legal basis is accorded to the power. Of the public authorities. But these powers cannot be unlimited. These powers cannot be unlimited because of the risk. Of unlawful decision of the administrations of the public authorities. So there is some data that cannot be processing by the public authorities. And these data are the sensitive data. And maybe you know that in Europe we have a large definition of which data can be sensitive. A large definition, and it's quite a bit long, but this is the definition of the GDPR. It's considered as sensitive data the alleged ratio. It can be considered as sensitive data the alleged racial or ethnic origin, the alleged racial and ethnic origin, the political opinions, religious or philosophical beliefs, or trade union membership of a natural person, or trade union membership of a natural person, or to process, or trade union membership of a natural person, or to process, you see various data, or to process genetic data, biometric data, genetic data, biometric data for the purpose of uniquely identifying a person, a natural person. Biometric data for the purpose of uniquely identifying a natural person. And other data. Data concerning health, or data concerning the sex life or sexual orientation, or data concerning the sex life or sexual orientation of a natural person, or data concerning the sex life or sexual orientation of natural person. You have to know this sensitive data cannot be processing. Neither recording, nor collected, nor processing, of course. Because it depends, it's linked with the privacy. The largest conception of the privacy. Largest why? Because even the political way, the political beliefs, the opinions are in. But whatever processing with these data is prohibited. Whatever they are cannot be processing with. There are some exceptions. According only with the public authorities. There is some exception according only with the public authorities. In which case, this is the first case is absolute necessity. Absolute necessity. Second case, subject to appropriate safeguards. Subject to appropriate safeguards for the rights and freedoms. Subject to appropriate safeguards for the rights and freedoms of the individual concerned. But in this case, it's in 3 times possible. In this case, it's only in 3 times possible. The first time of this case, if it's an authorization given by the law. Given by the law, but of course, the law is under the control of the constitutional judge. Authorization given by the law, but you know that the law is under the control of the constitutional judge, who appreciate if it's possible or not to apply this exception. to apply this exception. Second case of this second possibility, if it aims to protect the vital interest of the person, if it aims to protect the vital interest of a natural person. And third, if it concerns data clearly made public by the individuals concerned. Or if it concerns the data clearly made public by the individual person. As an example, it was judged sometimes if a natural person write some data concerning itself on a social media, it's considered as known as a public way. So if it's written on the social media, it cannot be in a situation to refuse after that data to not be processing for. As an example, a person writes on social media his sexuality or his religion. He can't say it's a true secret after it's written. The word no. So, in this case, it's considered as a possible legal basis to be processing with. So you can see we finished the first question in the second section concerning the principle of purpose. It drives us as far as possible. There is a second principle according to this section. This is a second point, the principle of proportionality. Second way, the principle of proportionality. Of course, there is a purpose, but of course, too, the obligation of proportionality requires the data controller to exercise restraint. Requires data controller to exercise restraints in the nature and quantity in the nature and quantity of personal data they collected and processing with. Sorry? I understand. Sorry, I didn't ask.
Can you repeat it again?
Repeat again.
I explained. So first, I repeat, the obligation of processing requires the data controller to exercise restraint in the nature and quantity of personal data they collect. As an example, the CNIL, French Data Protection Authority, the CNIL verify there is proportionality of the data depending of the purpose. like the example I was given, I give at the beginning of the discourse today. So, as an example, the data collected must not go over the purpose, must not go over what is required, for processing, what is required for processing. And of course, this proportionality collection of data, a disproportionality collection of data means that the controller went too far in the collect of data. But it can happen not only concerning the data collected itself, but two, the result of the processing. As an example, there was many judicial solutions concerning the websites about notation. I don't know if you had this in Cambodia, but we have had this in France. Some websites are some notation sites, and as an example, there is many judicial cases that were judged by the courts concerning websites of doctors